You're about to learn the best way to easily tune your drum samples so they match your song's key, which will make them a lot more harmonic with the rest of your instruments. Therefore, your productions will sound more professional. I'll show you the unusual method to save your samples from becoming flabby and weak in the tuning process. Hey, I'm Thales, pop music producer, and I noticed most people I've seen tune their samples in a way that deteriorates them more than necessary, whether it's a kick drum, a snare, toms, or percussions. Most people use the warp feature or some tuning effect that was created with the purpose of tuning melodic instruments. These tools, when they change something's pitch, they try to preserve the harmonic relationship of those frequencies. And because of that, they affect the high frequencies a lot more than the lower frequencies, even the duration of the sample. And that's why they weaken the sound of a percussive instrument. The best tool for tuning drums is a frequency shifter because it affects the whole spectrum equally. It doesn't care about the harmonic relationship of the partials. It simply displaces every frequency by the same amount. That means you can shift the fundamental frequency by 10 Hz, for example, to make sure it's in key, and the high frequencies, like the ones above 8 kHz, only get displaced by 10 Hz, which is barely noticeable in that range. If you're in Ableton Live, it comes with the frequency shifter that's perfect for this task. And I'm sure other DAWs have their own versions of this effect. Now, how do I know for sure if the sample is out of tune? And how much to change it exactly? Here's the easiest way I found. Get a free spectrum analyzer like Voxengo Span. It shows you every harmonic of your sample when you play it. And the download link is in the description below. Turn on this high resolution mode, which gives you a very detailed view of the low end. Then play the drum sample you want to tune, then click the hold button to freeze the spectrum, so you can take a good look at what's going on. Then find the fundamental frequency or the highest peak, which is the frequency we actually interpret as being the key of this sample. So it's the only one that matters for tuning, even though there are thousands of partials happening at the same time. Look at the frequency number that's displayed in the corner, the musical note, and take note of that. I usually tune my kicks, snares, toms, and percussions to the tonic, third, fifth, or sixth note of the scale. If my song is in a key of C major, for example, I'll tune them to a C, E, G, or A in most cases. It could also be any note that's present in most of the chords of the progression you're using. Actually, it could be anything, it's totally up to you. In this case, the fundamental frequency is on a G sharp at 209 Hz. Once you've decided which note you want to tune it to, just calculate the difference in frequency. If I wanted to bring it down all the way to the F at 174 Hz, the difference between 209 and 174 is 35 Hz. So that's the number I'm going to insert in my frequency shifter, minus 35. Now the fundamental frequency is tuned to the key of my song. And the effect barely touched the high frequencies, so this sample didn't become dull and didn't lose its buzz. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, can you tell me in the comments below what you'd like to learn next? And if I know how to help, I'll record a video with the answer. Now, some people ask about tuning hi-hats. I don't tune them to match the key of the song because in most cases, we can't really recognize pitch on a hi-hat sound. There are too many adjacent frequencies happening at the same time on this kind of sample, so it sounds more like noise. But sometimes I still mess with the pitch when I'm mixing hi-hats to change the area of the spectrum where they happen, so they won't be masked or cause masking on another instrument or percussion that also exists in that range. I like the hi-hats to sit alone in a certain frequency range, so I find a nice place for them and shift the frequencies to achieve that. Notice that for hi-hats, it takes a much higher frequency change. It's in the hundreds or even thousands of hertz. On the other hand, look at what would happen to the high frequencies if I simply use the warp feature instead of the frequency shifter to pitch down these hi-hats. They would lose some of the most important frequencies, right? All those airy frequencies are gone. Here's the frequency shifter again just for comparison. Now you know how to tune drum samples like a pro. If you're interested in pop music, writing, production, mixing, this channel is for you. Go ahead and subscribe so we can talk again, and make sure to watch this video on how to develop your loops. I'll show you how to turn any idea into a full song. It will be on your screen in a second. Thanks for hanging out today. I appreciate you watching this video. I'm Thales and I'll see you next time.